Have you been thinking of taking a repositioning cruise and wondering, is it for you? A year ago, if you had asked me, I had my reservations, but I admit I was wrong on this one. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, about a year ago, I created a video about 5 different cruises that you'll maybe want to avoid, or you might even regret it. And one of the cruises that I did mention was repositioning cruises. Well, wow, did I ever get a lot of backlash and people who said, Ilana, you are wrong on this one. So since that point, I have done some research, I've asked in my community, and I admit, I was wrong. Well, maybe at least for certain reasons and for certain people. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 8 reasons you might want to take a repositioning cruise, the benefits, but I'm also going to share like 3 reasons why it may not be for everybody. And by the way, I will leave that video about 5 cruises to avoid at the end of this one. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention 2 things. Firstly, if you've done a repositioning cruise, if you have any tips, please leave that in the comments below. And if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number 1, the price. Yes, a repositioning cruise is truly the best bang for your buck. You definitely can get some of the least expensive cruises simply by taking a repositioning cruise. And oftentimes what I have found out is when I did a little bit of research, if I would look at a 1-week cruise, oftentimes I could get, instead of a 7-day Caribbean cruise, I could look at a cruise that's anywhere from 12 to 15 or even 17 days that is a repositioning cruise for the same price. When you look purely at the value of the amount of days you get to spend on a cruise, the entertainment, the food, and the overall experience, there is no better value than a repositioning cruise. Now, a little tip that a lot of people shared in the community is not only is a repositioning cruise like the best price when it comes to interior cabins, ocean views, balcony cabins, but at the same time, if you've always wanted to be in a suite or any higher cabin, that these are going to be almost like on sale as well. So this is a great opportunity. Number 2, lots of sea days. Now, if you love cruising, what's better than sea days? Well, potentially port days, but you do have those too. But on a repositioning cruise, oftentimes what you have is several sea days in a row. So you may have like 5, it's not uncommon to have 5 sea days in a row. Now, I was wondering, would people be bored on a repositioning cruise because of having all of those sea days in a row? But people say no, they're not bored at all. There's really a lot of time to do a lot of different things. So everything from relaxing, reading a book, talking with friends, playing games, to actually doing some of the activities on the cruise ship. That could be watching movies, that could be going to the spa, that could be participating in Deal or No Deal, that could be going to the silent disco, participating in mixology classes, origami classes, fitness center, and more. And let's face it, so many of us lead very busy lives to actually have the downtime to be able to even take a nap. There's nothing wrong with that. Number 3, enjoy the cruise ship as the destination. Now, obviously, there are many different cruise ships and some really that we're anxious to spend a little bit more time on. Now, I could definitely think of some of the Royal Caribbean ships that if we had a little bit more time to explore them, some of the Norwegian ships with a lot of the different bells and whistles, that could really be fun to explore them. Some of the celebrity cruise ships, when you look even at the Beyond. I recently had some members in my community who shared what a wonderful time they had on the Celebrity Beyond on a 12-day repositioning cruise. And what they explained was they were never bored. They just had ample time to really explore that ship, do all of the different activities, of course, go to the ports and the destinations, and of course, eat, drink, and enjoy. Now, I love these photos of the Celebrity Beyond. Thank you to the member of my community who has allowed me to share them with permission. Please let me know if you could do any repositioning cruise on any cruise ship. Which would it be? Please let me know down in the comments below. Number 4, only fly one way to your cruise. Now, of course, this is potentially, it does really depend where you live. I'm actually getting ready to fly out to a cruise in just a couple of days. This is one of the new dresses that I bought, but I'm a little bit anxious. I'm getting a little bit better. So maybe by the time you see this video, I'll have already been on my flight, but the idea of only taking a flight one way does definitely have some appeal to me. But beyond that, there's also the price. It could be a much cheaper way to cruise. Number 5, there's no jet lag on a cruise. That's definitely an absolute benefit. And if you're taking that repositioning cruise and you're taking it, for instance, from Europe and you're coming back home to America, you will actually gain 1 extra hour as you cross the Atlantic. So that is a really good way to deal with the time change as well. You're not even going to have that jet lag as well as that like big time change to adjust to when you get home. Number 6, there are many different repositioning cruises, many different itineraries, many different destinations. So of course, while we sometimes talk about transatlantics as repositioning cruises, there are many different repositioning cruises. So you can do a repositioning cruise that is actually in the United States. You can do a repositioning cruise, for instance, even that leaves Canada. So from Quebec City to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You could do a repositioning cruise that leaves New York and goes to San Juan, Puerto Rico. You could do a repositioning cruise from Europe that goes to Asia. So there are many different destinations, and you almost have no limitation when you do just take a look at the different repositioning cruises that are offered. There are a lot of ways to take advantage of this mode of travel. Number 7, there are going to be very few children. Now, of course, this has its pluses and its minuses. It depends really on maybe what you want out of a cruise. If you wanted to do this as sort of a family cruise, this probably wouldn't be the most active cruise to take. However, if you don't really want to have kids on your cruise, if you prefer a little bit of quiet, then you probably will like this aspect. Number 8, these are amazing cruises for retirees. And I would say anybody really who has a lot of vacation time and really wants to take that time to travel, you actually have the time to do it when you do these repositioning cruises that are 12, 15, 17, 19 days, sometimes even a little bit longer. But you can do that cruise. But at the same time, if you have the time, for instance, if you're retired, you can actually combine some land travel. So maybe you could do another 7 days or another 10 days in the destination and do some land travel as well. Now, those are some definite pros. Please let me know down in the comments below if there are other pros, but there are like 3 important cons that you should be aware of. So the first con, or just something to be aware of, is there is a higher potential to have rough seas, at least for part of the time, not the whole time, but for some of the time during those sea days, you may encounter some rougher seas, some storms, and really encounter some motion sickness. Now, this doesn't mean it'll happen to everyone or it happens on every cruise, but it just is something to be aware of. Now, another con can be that you want to see more destinations all in one trip. So while the ideal of maybe having 2 weeks on a cruise sounds really appealing, if you're going to 4 or 5 destinations during those 2 weeks, is that going to be enough travel for you, enough destinations for you? You know the way you like to travel, so that can be a potential con. And the next reason maybe not to take a repositioning cruise is if it's your first cruise. So what I mean is, if it's your first cruise, you may want to first test out cruising, see how you like it, have a chance to get your sea legs, and sometimes those shorter cruises, like something that's a 6 or a 7 day cruise, is a better first cruise. Now, you might be wondering, what are the 4 other cruises to avoid? So I'm going to leave that video right after this one, but I'd love to hear from you. If you've taken a repositioning cruise, please let me know what you've loved or not loved. And if you're thinking of taking a repositioning cruise, please let me know down in the comments as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.